1959, the year the Institute was incorporated, I was taking some courses at Rose Hill Fordham, and one of my teachers, the very distinguished Dorothea McCarthy of child test fame, asked for a term paper about the new psychotherapies that were moving away from Freud and Rogers. That prompted me to read a book by Albert Ellis called How to Live with a Neurotic, published in 1957. I thought the book would be about Ellis' description of what neurotic meant, namely stupid behavior by people who are not stupid. And it was, kind of. As I read the book, however, it became apparent that the book was about me, or the reader, and that alone was a game changer. By 1965, when the board occupied the East 65th Street residence of Woodrow Wilson, I had read as much of Ellis as I possibly could for a working psychoanalyst and probably one of the experts on handicapped people in North America. But what that reading did is it prompted me to develop a profound change away from psychoanalysis toward a deep friendship and influence from Albert Ellis to my present status as one of the few diplomates in the world in that topic. Simply, the influence from Albert Ellis has been profound, long-lasting, and only positive. Happy 105th birthday to Albert Ellis from Jim McMahon.
I'm John Vitorito. Al Ellis's greatest contribution to me was his permission for me to practice REBT in a very existential kind of way. Ellis was a great existentialist, not just as a psychotherapist, but as a human being. So in that regard, he liberated me from the notion that psychotherapy had to be practiced, especially REBT, in a certain way. And for that, I'm forever grateful to him.
Hi, I'm Leonor Lega. I met Albert when I was a postdoctoral fellow in 1981 at the Albert Ellis Institute. What I remember about him most was his ability to put together a professional contribution that was very solid with a personal style that was funny, that was witty, abrasive at times. He was a very generous person, and for that, I will always remember him, and I will always be grateful.
Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Matwichuk, and I'm a practicing psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania. I've had the good fortune of being trained by Albert Ellis many years ago, and I would say the impact he's had upon my worldview and how I practice psychology over the past 28 years has been nothing short of profound. Albert taught me the value of unconditional self-acceptance, which enables me to cope with my errors and negative characteristics. He taught me the value of cultivating unconditional other acceptance, which enables me to deal with the misbehavior of other people in a fair-minded sort of way and deal with them effectively. He taught me the value of unconditional life acceptance, which enables me to cope with the inevitable hardships of life. In short, Albert was all about emotional responsibility and taught me how to control my emotional reactions to life and other people. In short, this is why I'm eternally grateful.
I remember when I first group, the first night, we'd had 5 days of training, and then Tuesday night, I'm sitting with Al with maybe 10 other people, and I've never done this before in my life. I don't know what I'm doing. But in any case, so I'm listening, and finally decide I better jump in. So I say to the client that Al's working with, which was the right thing to do, we were supposed to kind of take turns, I said, well, as Dr. Ellis said, and Al yells, not Dr. Ellis, Al, call me Al. There are enough people who deify me around here. Of course, I was like stunned. But from that day forward, I always referred to him as Al. So that's one anecdote. So I decided I would try to do different kinds of exercises. We would do group together, I think for an hour and 15 minutes, and then we would cross the hall, meaning the group and I by myself. Al would stay and start another group. We would go to the next room, and I decided I would study group exercises, and I would try to do a new one new one each Tuesday night so that I would learn. And the first 2 or 3 nights I did various quite different exercises. So I was a little anxious, so I went to Al and I said, do you really care what I do? He said, what do you mean? I said, do you only want me to do ABCs? Or, you know, I did a bag exercise where we pulled slips of paper out of the bag. I don't care what you do, as long as you don't make them whine. So then I said, you mean, how about if I talk about dreams? I just told you, you can do whatever you want, as long as you don't make them whine. And one of the reasons I've stayed here for a long time is because I think REBT is a very integration-like therapy. He often complained that therapists only did ABCs, and of course that's pretty much all he demonstrated, so that might have been one of the reasons. He also demonstrated REI usually with his ABCs. But that was true. I did a lot of different things, and as long as I didn't make them whine, he was okay. So that's my anecdote.
Happy birthday, Al. We've missed you. In thinking about wishing you a happy birthday, of course, I've thought about the profound influence that you've had on my life. When I first came to the Institute in 1975, many, many years ago, you called me a love slob of the worst sort. I think you created that phrase just for me. Said that I had a dire need to be loved and approved of by people, and I always sort of took the safe route so that people would like me. I really listened to that, and as a result, I sort of decided that some people aren't going to like me, and I've taken a lot more risks. I've done a lot more things and said a lot of things and tried a lot of things that I would have never wanted to try before, because I might have been wrong and people may not have liked me. So I've grown a lot because of you, and you've had a profound influence on me. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday, Al. I can't believe you're 105 years old. I guess I've had so many good memories of being trained by you and working with you. I suppose my funniest memory was when we were coming back from the Keystone Conference in 2000, and my friend and coworker at the time, Catherine McLaren, and I had the responsibility of getting you back to the airport to fly back to New York. And Catherine and I were caffeine addicted, and we decided that we were going to stop off at Starbucks to get coffee, and we had a debate, Catherine and I, about whether or not this was going to go over well with you, that we would be stopping because we know about your gene for efficiency. But we decided to take the chance, and we did. And I recall distinctly walking into Starbucks with you, and it was like you literally landed on a different planet, and watching you watch what was going on between ordering the coffee and then moving to a different section to get the coffee, and then moving to a different section to add coffee creamer and sugar to your coffee. It literally was like watching somebody who just landed in a different country speaking a different language. And when we asked you if you wanted to bring home the New York Times so that you could read it on the plane, you very quickly responded back, why would I do that when the paper is waiting for me at home? So it was an honor and a privilege to be trained by you, and to then have the opportunity to work with you and continue to carry on the mission that you stated that you wanted to see go through, which is to train and treat as many people in rational emotive behavior therapy. And I hope we are doing you proud. Thank you.